Welcome into, I guess we'll call it the 20-minute shot clock. It's a little high school basketball podcast we hadn't brought back this season, but postseason play is on the horizon. It's getting really close. And so I thought it was time for the high school basketball spotlight to pick back up a little bit. And I thought no better way than to have Guntersville varsity boys basketball coach Brett Self in here, tell us a little of his story and then jump into this year's team. So we'll jump straight into it, Brett. Tell us a little bit. You're from a small town outside of Montgomery. Do I have that correct?
That's right. Yep. First of all, thank you, Alex, for doing this. Always glad when you support high school basketball, and you're a great asset to what we do, and glad to have the shot clock back up and going. But yes, I'm from Pent Lala. Many of you people don't know, some of you do, but it's right outside of Montgomery, down 65. As you go into the beach, it's that whole Pent Lala exit, and that's where I grew up and went to school. Eventually went to Auburn University, and went and coached a little bit of college on the women's side, and then got back into high school and spent 5 years at Douglas. And then now this is going in my third year at Guntersville. I got to take the team down to Pent Lala when we went to Mobile for the Christmas tournament. We got to practice at my old high school, and that was fun. My dad got to be a part of it. He coached me, and he's retired now coaching, and he got to kind of help out. So that was a good trip, and it was good to get them down there and get to see my hometown.
So growing up with your dad as a coach, was coaching kind of always an idea, something that you wanted to do?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I wanted to be like him. I mean, even though we butted heads when I played for him, he was right 99% of the time, but I was hard-headed. But yeah, I mean, I looked up to him. He was my mentor. I got to see a difference he made in people's lives as a teacher and a coach, and I wanted to try to do that myself. And that's why when I started out on the college side, I missed that connection. It's more of a business on the college side. You're recruiting, and then it's not that feel that you get in high school sports, and that's what I love about high school, and the ability to make a change in someone's lives and help them and help these young men. So, but yes, definitely.
That was definitely going to be a question at some point. Was asking why the change to high school, but before we get there, I just had a little question about your time at Auburn and how you got involved with the women's program there. How did you choose the women's side to get involved with? I think they were rolling pretty well at that time. So y'all had a good group. Was it under Nell Fortner?
Yep, that's it. When I got there, I wanted to go on the men's side, but they were making a transition in coaches at that time, and Nell Fortner was a women's coach and Olympic gold medal coach, and had them rolling and building something special there. And I got privileged enough to go help them and be a graduate assistant, and that propelled my obviously coaching career forward. I still take things I learned from Nell and Mark Simons, who was coaching there, character means, a lot of assistant coaches there that I learned our defensive philosophy. A lot of it comes from my time at Auburn. I'm a firm believer that, like, if you can coach basketball, you coach basketball. Women, men, it doesn't matter. There's a lot of great high school coaches on the women's side, men's side, both. Coach Hinton down the road in Boaz is one of the guys I think is a phenomenal coach, coaching high school girls. So, I took a lot of stuff away from coaching that women's basketball on the college side, and what would carry over to the high school side.
Hey, while we're on the Auburn topic, I know it's kind of hard as a high school basketball coach. Your games are at the same time as the men a lot, but have you gotten a chance to watch Bruce Pearl and his team this year? What have you thought of them?
Yeah, I have. I got that, not as much as I wanted to, but I've got to watch them a few times. It's funny you mentioned that, because we got half our team Alabama and half our team Auburn. So our group messages with the team are pretty interesting, considering who wins what. But I'm really, really proud of what he's building there. Really happy with what he's building there, and lock him up lifetime, and to hopefully have him there for a long time to sustain the success. I think we got a good women's coach in there now. She's trying to do some good things, beating Tennessee. So as an alum, I'm very happy with where our basketball programs are.
So coming out of Auburn and spending time as a graduate assistant, it sounded like you went to a couple different places. I think you started at Wagner and then Bradford, Belmont, kind of making that college ladder. Kind of just tell us about that experience, because a lot of people don't understand that side of the business, and the guys that aren't the head coaches, or even at sometimes the assistant coaches, support staff people, and just kind of tell everybody what that life is like and why you decided, like you said earlier, that you want to kind of get back more into the high school coaching.
Yeah, it's a grind. It's tough. Recruiting is really difficult because you're doing it all the time. I mean, you're on the phone with recruits. If you're not, you're thinking about you should be. I mean, it's an all day, weekly grind to recruit and try to get the best players. And then the colleges I was at, which was a smaller college, you do have a bigger pool to choose from than your major, top fives, but you're still having to try to find the best of the best. And but I was just so fortunate to work with some really good coaches that have, really helped me in my development process, and I got to learn from not just X and O wise, but just how to run a program, how to handle adversity, and just every little stop along the way was vital to my coaching career. But at the end of the day, I wanted to get back closer to home. I wanted to get back to where my family was, and I just my growing up, like I said, with my dad, that's where my heart was ultimately. I could have stayed in college and maybe had a career there, but I really wanted to get to the high school level, get on the boys side, and try to help young guys become men and try to teach them life lessons, and just build that rapport with them. And there's just nothing like high school basketball games. I mean, that county tournament of the night in that packed gym at Snead State. I mean, even though we didn't come out like we wanted to, just the experience those guys got to have and play in front of that great crowd. And man, we lost a tough one, but we battled and we fought, and you got to teach them a life lesson about, hey, you can't let it define you. You got to just, let it fuel you to get better. Those are the kind of things you don't get in college. In college, it's a business. You're traveling, you're going to play 2 or 3 games a week, and it can just be a little different. But I love the high school side of things. I love just in general the feel you get from playing high school, coaching high school sports.
So what was it about Douglas then? I think you spent 5 years at Douglas. What was it about that job, since you weren't from this area and you're looking to get in the high school game? What was it about the Douglas job that was attractive to you?
Yeah, there was several jobs open at that time, and Douglas was one of them. The principal, Scott Bonds, at the time was the high school principal, and from early on in the interview process, he wanted to try. The program was struggling. I think it had 3 wins when we got there, and he just wanted to get that winning culture back, and I'm proud of what we did in our 5 years there. I love Douglas. They were really good to me. I met my wife while I was coaching there in that area, and they love their basketball at Douglas, and I had some really good athletes come through there. I was very fortunate to coach some really good kids, and it made me a better coach. It was a tough grind every night. Every game was a battle, and but one thing about those kids I coached at Douglas, they would go through the wall for you, and they would battle for you, and that's all I could ask of them. And I don't run away from my past or shy away from where I've been. Like, I appreciate my 5 years there, and it made me a better coach, and helped me get this job where I am today. But I just the ability to be the head coach at a young age and try to build a program and do the right things, and I'm glad to see it still carrying some success right now.
So then take me back to, I guess, 3 years ago now, and the Guntersville job opens up. It's an attractive job around here. They've hired coaches from the Huntsville area in the past. This is a little bit of a different hire for them, with kind of the local guy who's been in the area a little bit. They had the alum before coming from Texas. It was just it's an opening that a lot of people want, frankly, boys and girls side. And Coach Kenny Hill's doing a great job with the girls as well.
Yeah.
So it's not really what was it about the Gunners job. I think everybody knows it's a good one that's listening to this show. But why do you think you was the right fit for you at the right time to make that move?
Only way I was the right fit is because the people who were making the decision took a risk to go in a different direction. I think, people heard that I got the job. I don't know if it wasn't that wow hire. I know it wasn't. It wasn't the big name hire. But the people that had followed me at Douglas knew how hard I worked, and how I wanted to, how we built something there, and won an area championship there, and had a winning culture there. And they saw that we tried to build something there. But it goes back to the hiring committee, and Roseanne Mabry being the principal again, believing in me, and Johnny Harbison believing in me. And it was a job I wanted. Long since I moved up here, it was a job I wanted. I knew it was one of the best in the county, and I was just thankful enough that they could look past not being the big name, not being from the big Huntsville area, Birmingham area. And I'm very blessed to be here. And it's just been a great 3 years. And man, I think we're had every team in the county championship this year. I got a great coaching staff, and it's just a blessing to be here. And we're going to just try to build this thing.
Yeah, this is kind of a fun season. I feel like if you're not familiar with Guntersville basketball, you won 20+ games your first 2 years. A couple of those guards and Cooper Davis and Brand Fusel have been there for the whole ride. You've kind of built this team up, and you lost some big contributors last year that I think was talked about a good bit early in the season that people are forgetting in Jack and Jarrell. But your guards have been through it. Kind of talk to me about their growth from the time you took over the job and met these kids, if you didn't already know them, and how they are today. I mean, if you watched that county tournament, a lot of people did. It was a big crowd. Cooper Davis and Brandon Fusel played fantastically, and all year I've just been so proud of their effort. I've always called them guys they're gym rats. They'll play pickup at 5 a.m. if you call them up. Just tell me a little bit about meeting those kids and then where they are today.
Well, when I got this job, Jonathan Hyde, who's an alum here and, a great asset to our program, he let me know early on I had some good guards. And it's funny, I was joking with Cooper the other day. We went to go watch UAH, and, Cooper didn't even start the first couple of summer games we had. And I'm looking back and like, wow, I don't know what I was thinking with him not starting on that. I think I was trying to get him to play a little bit harder. Brandon obviously had been a starter for us from the day one, but those two kids are really, really special. More than just basketball, they're just good, fun kids to be around. They're yes sir, no sir. They're laid back. They love Guntersville. They love coming to work every day. They never had a bad practice as far as like not wanting to be there. They're usually the first ones in. And like you said, they want to get shots up. They want to get their game better. They play in other sports. They're phenomenal football players. They still find time to get in the gym and get better at their game. But I can't say enough about those two. They're just special people, and I've been blessed to coach them. We're going to honor Cooper for his 1,000-point Tuesday night, and we've already honored Brandon for his 1,000 points. And when you got players like that, you're going to win some games, not based off coaching, just based off just talent alone. And those two are special. And, I appreciate you always supporting them and pubbing them, because they don't get the recognition they deserve as far as being really, really good players. But I know you try hard to get those out there along with other Marshall County, kids. And it's good to see them two have a really good season.
Do you think there's a chance either of those guys get to play at the next level, at some level?
I do. I don't know.
Or another sport, maybe. Maybe they play football, or I think Cooper can walk out there and probably run the mile and do it too.
Yeah. I'm trying to get them to come out to track and field for sure, because I'm helping that while I'm here, and I've really enjoyed that. But I do think they can play. I don't know what level. I know there's some interest from some coaches around here, and off a little bit. It's just going to be what's the right fit for them and where they want to go. But I absolutely think they can play at the next level.
So let's dig into this team a little bit. Like I said, year one, you made it to the postseason, had that heartbreaking loss at Jacksonville. Last year, it was that tough situation where you make it to regionals, but it's not at regionals, and you run into a really good team. Tell me about this year's team, and kind of not compared to before, but are you guys ready to make another run and have a little postseason success?
Well, I think you made some really good points. I mean, we don't talk about the key pieces that we lost last year. I mean, Jack and Drill were big for us. Dwayne Hunley was a big-time guard for us. Stanley Michelle came off the bench and was a really super athletic rebounder for us. So we lost some really good seniors, and we're having to ask some young guys to step up. And I'm pleased with where we're at right now. We started off a little slower in the beginning. Mae Jemison came early on in the first game of the year and popped us in the mouth, and we had to wake up early. No excuses, no care from football, getting late, whatever it may be. We just didn't play our best basketball early. But I was looking at our schedule since December 20th when we played Decatur here. We're 11-3 since that day. We've lost 2 in the Christmas tournament down in Mobile. One was Cottage Hill, who I think will be the favorite in their classification, and the other was Albertville in the CAD tournament. So, I think we're playing some good basketball right now. I think we still got a ways to go on some things. That's what we're going to work on, the rest of today and this week. But I like where we're at. As far as a postseason run, that's our goal. Our goal, we're sitting here at 18-8. We got 2 more games this week, senior night, Boaz
I
at
know you
home,
want
and then
those. You want to be able to put
yeah,
20 up on the board again.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. And we took care of our area play. So, we're going to host the charity championship here, with it being a 3-team area. So we set ourselves up in good shape. Now it's up for us to take it game by game, keep developing and get better on both ends of the ball. And I feel like we have the pieces, and we got some, like I said, when you got those 2 good guards, you got a chance. Kurt Blanchard gives us some size in the post. And we're having some guys step off the bench for us, and play some minutes here and there. And that's where we're challenging right now, is those bench players to really take over. And whether it's a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, what are you doing to help this team? I think we can get a few of those coming on. That's going to really boost us down the stretch.
Can you talk a little bit more about Kurt Blanchard? Because he's a guy who, he's been big for a long time, and everybody was waiting on kind of his moment. He's had some injuries in the past. And then last year, there wasn't a county tournament. So I was really going in the county tournament, hey, this might be Kurt's time to shine. And he had some good runs. He got in a little bit of foul trouble. Didn't get to see his best games there either. But talk a little bit about Kurt and his development, because he's a lot better than the first time I saw him a few years ago.
Exactly. He has developed, and like you mentioned it, he's faced some obstacles. I think him tearing his labrum before summer was really detrimental to our progress, because we had scheduled a really tough summer stretch. We were going to Lipscomb. We were going to different places. We're playing some teams from different states, and we really did that to challenge him along with our guards. And to miss that summertime really hurt, because I think there's a time that you work on your game and you get better. And of course, he was out up until October, and then he, had to try to get back in shape and do that stuff. I'm proud of Kurt. I think it could have been very easy for him to hang his head and say, hey, I faced a lot of injuries. I'm just going, kind of go through the motions. But he's a great leader for us. He gives us that size, presence. And even though he's not, scoring a double-double, teams still have to respect him. We play May Jemison. They're fronting and giving help. Well, leaves our guards open for us to hit the 3. So, he still attracts a lot of attention down there. But he's a great young man. I mean, he's a phenomenal kid. Yes or no, sir. He's the kind of kid that you want when I have kids to be like. And it's just a fun team, and I'm glad to see him make those strides this year that he hadn't had in those last 2 years, and to finish his senior season out strong. And I think he'll really help us out. I know he will.
So we're joined by Guntersville basketball coach Brett Self here. Talk a little bit about some of I know you don't look ahead too much to regionals, but for people that are not aware, we know that y'all match up with that other kind of local cross with the Boaz and Douglas, who's got a great team. It's going to be a fun if y'all get to match up again this year. But tell us about, I think it's the Alexandria region maybe, and then Ramsey and Parker leads that group. Tell us a little bit about those teams.
Yeah, first things first, the cross is going to be a difficult game, whether you got Boaz, Douglas, Crossville, any of those. Crossville beat DAR the other night at DAR on their senior night. Boaz is on the win streak. Douglas has won some games since the county tournament. Like that's going to be our focus primarily, is getting past that. Hopefully we take care of business in the tournament. We host the area tournament here. We can have a home game, which will be to our benefit, but that'll be our focus. And then you look at what our cross, I believe we'll see in Alexandria, a lead somewhere like that. Ramsey's in that mix. I think if Ramsey wins their area, we won't see them until the Elite 8. But they're all 4 really good, 5 teams over there that are really good. So we got our work cut out for us. We're going to focus on a game and game time, but we feel like with what we have, when we play our best basketball, we're going to have a chance to make a postseason run.
Yeah, I'm excited about that, because we're going to run some of this audio on our Gadsden Fox Sports 102.9 station, and we've decided to follow Alexandria on that station. So we weren't really sure area-wise. Etowah County doesn't really have a team that looks like they might make a run, but Alexandria has done some work against their area. And so I think we're going to be over there. So I'd love to see, a game between Guntersville and Alexandria. They've lost a couple pieces off the last group, but how do you guys match up physically with some of these teams? Like, I didn't get to see the game last year when you got beat, when it should have been at regional. Was it a physical issue? Did you just not match up very well? And how do you think this year's group can do that?
Yeah, I think you say it physicality, and we've been preaching that. We've been preaching that here in the local schools. That we play. The Ramsey game was a little tricky. They sped us up a little bit, and I thought our decision making wasn't great. I think we've worked on that. We've gotten better on that. I've watched Alexandria a few times, watched Ramsey a few times, and you say it physicality, and they got some athletes. They got some guys that can shoot it. They got some size. They're all very good, but I think it goes back down to just our toughness, and we preach about toughness, talk about toughness a lot. And, that's what toughness is. What toughness to me was we lost a heartbreaker on Saturday night against our arch rival. They rushed the floor. I mean, it was just a really tough loss. We took it like a man. We go to Arab on Tuesday and get a big win on the road, and then finish it going to Mae Jemison and getting a big win on the road. That's toughness. I think that's part of that, what we're trying to build with that physicality, both on the court and then our toughness, mental toughness off the court, that will hopefully help us in postseason play.
Well, I'm glad to hear it because, I really think this Guntersville basketball team has a chance. When you have good guards, anything can happen. Let me just ask you a little bit about that county championship game, because, boy, it's crazy to me that a shot 2 inches the wrong way and everybody feels so much differently. Like everybody's sad and the Aggie fans are thrilled. But if a shot is an inch different, all of a sudden, you're the greatest coach in the world and Cooper is the greatest player in the world, but everything can change. Just that was a great high school basketball game. Coming into it, you guys had already split and you had a really good game at home. At Guntersville, y'all really played well against Albertville. You threw out some zone defenses that kind of, I think, caught them off guard, and y'all just played really, really well. How did you approach playing a team for a third time, a team where there's no real mysteries, that y'all know each other, the kids know each other? How do you approach playing a team a third time? And did you think your kids kind of did the game plan and played how you wanted them to play?
They did. I mean, we just wanted to have a chance late in the game, and we did that. We knew that they were going to make adjustments to what we did in the last game. We tried to tweak a few things, and it worked a little bit here and there. But what it boiled down to was, we didn't get stops defensively, and their guards drove past us. And playing back-to-back nights, we talked about different things, but we were going to say no excuses. I mean, we're going to say, hey, we're going to go in there and give it our best shot and battle. And like I said in the paper, basketball is a game of runs, and they made one more run late than us. I mean, you tell me we're going to be up 2 with Cooper shooting 2 free throws. I'm saying he's hitting both. I'm calling timeout. We're going zone press. We're going to slow the clock down. We're up 4. We're going to win this game. And then we didn't. Then we go down and give an and 1 2-point game or 1-point game. Hey, I'm going to put the ball in Cooper's hands every time. Brandon had fouled out. So, we know who we're going to go to, and we got to look. And that's all you can ask for. But like you said it the best. I mean, that ball goes a little bit more right and it goes in, and we're celebrating. And, we're happy about it. But I'm a firm believer that game is going to help us down the stretch, and that's what we're going to utilize. But it was a great high school basketball game. Bunnell's doing a good job at Albertville. I mean, to take over that program with a guy who's kind of a legend there leaving, and, you're kind of in his shadows. And I tell him that's his program now. I mean, he's putting his own staple to it and working them hard. And, I got a lot of respect for him.
Before I let you get out of here, I got to talk to you a little bit about your girls program. And I hope I can get Kenny Hill on here and do one with him in the next week or 2. People all around the area ask me, like, hey, who's got a chance to do something this year? Who's got a chance to win a state championship or something? And my answer has been, right now, honestly, both Guntersville teams have a chance to make a run. Now, I say specifically the girls. I think these Guntersville girls, I don't know who all their matchups are later on. I don't know about some of those Birmingham schools, but they are really playing some good basketball. And that's a group that's still young. They got a ways to go. But talk to me about what Coach Hill has done in that girls program.
Phenomenal job. I mean, he's done a great job. It's a good group of girls, both on and off the court. They're fun to watch. They're fun to be around, and they're very talented. We start with Vandergrift. Girl can, outside shot, inside shot, get the rim, mid-range. Tazie Harris has developed her game so much, and being a big post player for them, rebounding and put back. But their X factor are their other guards that can hit shots. Ivy can hit shots, and his daughter is the point guard, and she does a great job of controlling the flow of the game. And they're just a fun group to watch. I think they're going to make a run for sure. I think that, they're all juniors. They're going to all be back next year. But when it comes to girls basketball, I mean, you got to put them up there with the top. And the thing is that he coaches them hard. They respond. He gets after them. He challenges them. He's been a really good asset to that girls program, and he's building something really strong with his varsity roster.
I hope your boys watch those girls a little bit, especially a girl like Lainey Phillips. You didn't mention her, but not only shoots the basketball, she plays as hard as anybody I see year round, any sport. I think the boys could learn a little bit from how tough that team plays.
I meant to mention her. Her and Ivy are the ones that I was trying to figure out in my head. They're the X factors for them. They're the ones that don't really get on the stat sheet all the time, but their hustle is top notch on the high school. And they don't have a deep bench. I mean, they got when their JV's playing, they play 7 players, 8 players. So they're in shape and they're playing hard, and we'll be supporting them through their postseason run as well.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us today, Coach. We'll be keeping an eye on you. I hope to get to cover some more games. I think we got Boaz Guntersville Tuesday night, right?
Yep, it's going to be a big one for us senior night, and again, I can't thank you enough, Alex, for what you do, man. You do a great job. You could be doing anything you wanted to do, and I know that, and you don't. You support high school basketball. You promote it. You get us out there, and if it wasn't for your platform, we really wouldn't have one around here. And so not just for us at Guntersville, but everywhere. And you were good to me when I was at Douglas when you first started, and I just really appreciate you and what you do. And I hope the community, when they see you and Marshall County sees you, they thank you for it, because you give us a platform that we wouldn't have. And I can't thank you enough for what you do for high school basketball.
Well, I appreciate the kind words, guys that care about it like you. I just love basketball. I like hooping. That's why I like your guys. I think they love basketball too.
Exactly.
And so I think, like you said, Dylan Bennell is a guy at Albertville that loves basketball, and Skylar Ball at Douglas loves basketball. So this is a fun group. There's no big egos around this county, this area. Y'all all just love the hoop and love to get it out there. So it makes it easy for me.
Absolutely. Thank you, man. I appreciate you so much.
Sounds good. Thanks, Brett.